Today we're exploring the exciting world of Gambian real estate.
Sounds like a dream come true. Sun, sand, and a change of pace. Who wouldn't be interested?
Exactly. And to guide us through this journey, we have insights from Gamrealty.
Gamrealty. A great choice. They're known for being a really solid real estate agency in the Gambia. I mean, they have a fantastic reputation.
Yeah, for sure. They've got like a 4.8 rating
Mm-hmm.
based on 32 reviews. That's going to mean something, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the world of overseas property, you really want someone you can trust.
Right, someone who's going to be there for you.
Yeah, exactly. And, Gamrealty, they're known for being super responsive, transparent, and really customer focused.
That's great to hear, especially when you're, taking the plunge and investing in a property, so far away.
Yeah, it's a big decision.
It is a big decision. So for anyone out there who's not super familiar with the Gambia, like, what are we even talking about here?
Okay, so picture this. A small West African country with like incredible natural beauty, pristine beaches along the Atlantic,
Oh, wow.
lush landscapes, diverse ecosystems teeming with wildlife.
It sounds amazing.
It really is. It caters to all sorts of interests, whether you're into exploring cultures, chilling on beaches, or immersing yourself in nature.
And the climate. Let's not forget about that.
Oh, yes. The climate. Over 2,000 hours of sunshine a year.
Wow. No wonder people are looking to escape those, long winters.
Exactly. You can trade those, gray skies for sunshine pretty much all year round.
That sounds pretty tempting.
The Gambia has a distinct dry and rainy season, so you get a bit of both worlds.
Now I know what everyone's thinking. Safety. Is the Gambia safe?
That's always a top concern, and it's smart to be cautious wherever you travel. But generally, the Gambia is considered pretty safe.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, there's some petty street crime, as you'd find in, any touristy place.
Right, makes sense.
But overall, it's a peaceful country with warm and welcoming people.
Okay, so let's say we're sold on the Gambia. How do we actually go about buying a property there? Like, what about financing? Is that even possible?
Great question. Gamrealty actually specializes in helping international buyers navigate those waters. They can connect you with local banks who are familiar with working with, people from overseas.
So they've got those connections already.
Exactly. They make the process much smoother.
That's really helpful. And what about taxes? That's a big one too, right?
Definitely. You need to understand the tax implications, and Gamrealty is really upfront about that. They'll guide you through the Gambian tax system, make sure you're aware of any potential taxes or fees that might apply.
So you're not hit with any surprises later on?
No surprises. Transparency is key.
And, okay, let's say we buy a property in the Gambia. What happens when we want to sell it?
Another great question. It's crucial to have an exit strategy, and Gamrealty understands that. They have a deep understanding of the local market.
So they can advise on, the best time to sell and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll help you navigate the selling process and make sure you get a fair deal.
Okay, so buying's covered, selling's covered. What if someone wants to build their own dream home in the Gambia?
Well, Gamrealty offers services for that, too. They can help with land acquisition, architectural design, even construction management.
Wow, so they're like a one-stop shop.
Pretty much. They connect you with reputable architects, builders, the whole team you need.
That sounds amazing. Like you could have your dream home on a beautiful Gambian beach.
Exactly. They really make it possible.
Okay, so shifting gears a little bit. The Gambia also seems to have a lot of potential for, entrepreneurs.
Oh, absolutely. It's a growing economy with a lot of opportunities. And guess what? Gamrealty is involved in that, too.
Really? I'm sensing a theme here.
They offer business consultancy services, help with buying and selling businesses, and even have an investment platform called Gambian Invest.
Wow. So you could potentially buy a property and start a business in the Gambia.
Exactly. It's a really exciting prospect for anyone looking for a fresh start.
Okay, so we've talked about the dream, but what about the reality of living in the Gambia? Like, what about healthcare? Is that up to par?
Especially for those coming from Europe or the U.S., healthcare is a big concern.
Yeah, for sure.
But, the Gambia actually has a good network of private health centers, especially in the greater Banjul area.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and these centers are often staffed by qualified professionals, many of whom have trained internationally.
Oh, wow. So you're in good hands.
Absolutely. And many of these private clinics work with international insurance companies, so that's something to consider as well.
Okay, so healthcare's covered. What about everyday life? Like shopping, amenities, things like that?
You'll find a good mix of local and international options. There are local markets full of fresh produce and unique finds, and then you have supermarkets that stock a variety of imported goods.
So you don't have to give up your creature comforts.
Exactly. And in terms of leisure, The Gambia has a lot to offer. Restaurants, bars, hotels, you name it.
And what about the social scene? Are there expat communities?
Oh, absolutely. The Gambia has thriving expat communities from all over the world.
So you can connect with people from back home.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great way to build a support network and, not feel so isolated in a new country.
I can imagine that's really important when you're moving somewhere new.
It is. And the Gambian people are known for their warmth and hospitality, so you'll feel welcome right away.
That's great to hear. So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into the Gambia.
We have, from the beauty of the country to the practicalities of buying property and even starting a business.
It really seems like the Gambia offers a unique opportunity to, escape the ordinary and embrace a whole new way of life.
It does. And Gamrealty seems like the perfect partner to help you make that happen.
They really do. Their expertise and commitment to customer service are impressive. So if you're intrigued by the Gambia and all it has to offer,
Gamrealty is definitely worth checking out.
absolutely. And we'll be back after a short break to delve deeper into some specific aspects of buying property in the Gambia. So stay tuned.
There's a lot more to uncover. So we've talked about the appeal of the Gambia, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty of actually buying property there.
Yeah, let's talk about the process, especially for those of us coming from Europe or the U.S. The legal side of things can feel pretty overwhelming.
Absolutely. Different country, different laws. It can be a maze.
Definitely amazing. So how do you make sure you're doing everything right?
Well, that's where a company like Gamrealty really shines. They're experts in Gambian property transactions. They walk you through every single step.
So they kind of hold your hand through the whole process.
Exactly. They're like your local guide, making sure everything is legal, secure, and transparent. No nasty surprises later on.
I like the sound of no nasty surprises.
They also connect you with reputable lawyers who specialize in real estate.
So you've got the legal side covered.
Exactly. All your documents are in order and your interests are protected. And speaking of protection, they really emphasize due diligence.
Due diligence. Due diligence. That's one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot. What does it actually mean in this context?
It's basically a thorough investigation of the property you're interested in. Think of it as your safety net. You're verifying ownership, checking for any hidden debts, making sure all the permits are in place.
So you're not buying into any problems unknowingly.
Exactly. Gamrealty really goes the extra mile to ensure everything is above board.
That peace of mind is priceless, especially when you're investing in a property abroad.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about another exciting opportunity. Business. I hear the Gambia is a great place to start a business.
It is, and Gamrealty is involved in that side of things too. They have a platform where you can buy or sell businesses in the Gambia.
Oh, wow. So they're not just about property.
No, they have a whole range of services. And they guide you through the entire process of buying or selling a business.
That's pretty comprehensive.
It is. They really are a one-stop shop for anyone looking to invest in the Gambia.
So what kind of advice do they give to people considering buying a business there?
Well, just like with property, they really stress the importance of due diligence. Understanding the business financials, the legal standing, making sure everything is in order.
It's all about making informed decisions.
Exactly. They also recommend engaging lawyers and financial advisors who are experienced in the Gambian market.
So you've got a team of experts backing you up.
That's the idea. Now let's imagine someone has taken the plunge, they've bought a property, maybe even started a business. What's life like in the Gambia?
Yeah, how does it compare to life in Europe or the U.S.?
Well, it's definitely more laid back, less hurried. The pace of life is slower. People really value relationships and community.
It sounds like a refreshing change of pace.
It is. It's about slowing down, enjoying the simple things, connecting with people.
Okay, so let's talk about building a dream home in the Gambia. What advice does Gamrealty offer for that process?
They emphasize meticulous planning, getting all your ducks in a row before you start building.
That's always good advice.
It is. They also stress the importance of assembling a reliable team of professionals. Architects, builders, everyone you need to make your vision a reality.
So you're not just winging it.
No, definitely not. It's a big project and you need the right people on board.
What are some of their key recommendations?
They always say establish a clear budget from the get-go and factor in everything, not just the construction costs, permits, professional fees, landscaping, furnishings.
It's easy to forget about those extra costs.
It is, and it can really add up. They also advise finalizing your design choices early on, like materials and finishes, to avoid making costly changes later.
So you're not making decisions on the fly.
Exactly. The more you plan up front, the smoother the process will be.
Makes sense. And they also have some interesting advice about dealing with, well, let's call them construction challenges.
Yes. They say try to ignore the minor complaints
Ignore them. Really?
as much as you can.
Yeah.
Every construction project has its hiccups. Unless it's a serious issue, try not to sweat the small stuff.
That's actually a great piece of advice for life in general.
It is. Now let's talk about something a bit more fun. Gambian culture. What should people be aware of, especially those coming from Europe or the US?
Yeah. What are some of the cultural nuances?
Well, the Gambia is predominantly Muslim, but it's also very tolerant of other religions and cultures.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's a very welcoming and friendly country. People are generally very hospitable. It's always a good idea to dress modestly, especially when visiting religious sites or rural areas.
That's just common courtesy.
Exactly. And greeting people with a handshake and a smile goes a long way. Learning a few basic phrases and well off the local language can also be helpful.
It shows respect for the culture.
It does. Now let's touch on healthcare again. We talked about private health centers. What about access to medications?
Yeah, that's a big concern for a lot of people.
You can usually find most common medications at pharmacies in the Gambia. But if you rely on specific prescriptions, it's best to bring an ample supply with you.
Just in case.
Exactly. And always consult your doctor or a travel clinic before traveling to get the latest advice on vaccinations and health precautions.
Safety first.
Always. Now, how about getting around transportation in the Gambia? What are the options like?
Yeah, how do people usually get from A to B?
Public transportation is readily available. Shared taxis, minibuses, they cover most routes, but many people opt for personal vehicles, cars or motorbikes, for convenience and flexibility.
So owning a car is pretty common.
It is for many, especially if you live outside the main urban areas.
What's driving, in the Gambia?
It can be an adventure, traffic can be congested, you might encounter livestock on the roads, and the occasional pothole.
Sounds like you need to be a confident driver.
That helps. But if you're not comfortable driving yourself, hiring a driver is also very affordable in the Gambia.
So there are options.
There are. Okay, let's talk about everyday life. Amenities, shopping, things like that.
What can people expect to find?
You'll find most daily necessities easily accessible. Supermarkets with local and imported goods, vibrant local markets with fresh produce, seafood, spices, all sorts of interesting things.
Sounds like a nice mix.
It is. And in terms of leisure activities, the Gambia has a lot to offer. Beautiful beaches, diverse wildlife, rich culture, delicious cuisine, something for everyone.
The beaches are definitely a big draw.
They are. Kololi Beach is popular for its nightlife and restaurants. Kotu Beach is more laid back, perfect for relaxation. And then you have the beaches further south, Sanyang, Gunjur, more secluded, more off the beaten path.
Sounds like paradise.
And beyond the beaches, you have Kiang West National Park, home to incredible wildlife, monkeys, leopards, hippos. The Bao Belong Wetland Reserve is also worth a visit. It showcases the Gambia's amazing biodiversity.
So much to see and do.
There is. And for history and culture buffs, you can visit historical sites like James Island and Jufuray, or immerse yourself in local culture by visiting traditional villages and markets.
It's a fascinating blend of experiences.
It really is. And for those considering a more permanent move, the expat community in the Gambia is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
It's very welcoming and friendly. It's easy to connect with both locals and fellow expats. You won't feel isolated. There's a strong sense of community.
That's so important when you're living in a new country.
It is. It makes the transition so much easier. Now, before we wrap up this part, let's just emphasize the importance of having a trusted partner like Gamrealty by your side.
They really seem to go above and beyond.
They do. They're not just about selling properties. They're about helping people achieve their dreams in the Gambia.
Providing that support and guidance every step of the way.
Exactly. They're your advocate, your resource, your friend in the Gambia.
So if you're intrigued by the Gambia and thinking about making a move,
Gamrealty is definitely worth reaching out to.
they're the experts on the ground. They know the ins and outs. They can make your dream a reality.
They can. So what are you waiting for?
Time to start exploring. We'll be back after a short break with some final thoughts and things to consider as you embark on your own Gambian adventure. Wow, what a journey this has been exploring the Gambia. It really does sound like a hidden gem.
It is. It offers so much natural beauty, rich culture, a more relaxed pace of life. It's a place where you can really disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with yourself.
And if this deep dive has sparked any interest in the Gambia. Remember, Gamrealty is there to help you every step of the way.
Absolutely. They're an invaluable resource. Their knowledge, their expertise, their commitment to their clients, it's truly impressive.
They really make the whole process of buying property overseas feel less daunting.
They do. They take the stress out of it. And they're always there to answer any questions you might have.
So as we wrap up this exploration of the Gambia, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder.
Okay, I like it. A thought to ponder.
Have you ever considered what it would be like to trade in the daily grind for a life filled with sunshine, cultural exploration, and maybe even the chance to build something new? The Gambia might just be the answer you've been searching for.
It's a place where you can create a life that truly aligns with your dreams. A place where you can be yourself, explore new passions, and embrace a different way of life.
It's an invitation to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the unknown.
And who knows, maybe your next chapter unfolds on the beautiful shores of the Gambia.
Maybe it does. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the Gambia. It's been a pleasure exploring this amazing country with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep diving deep.